I'm going to show you how to sew an elastic and casing. So I've cut a piece of casing a bit shorter than the fabric I want because I don't want the casing to be caught into the seams. And you would normally have a placement line if you were doing it on a pattern, but I'm just going to pin mine directly in the middle, and I've already folded over, steamed each edge, so I have a finished edge. And then, once it's pinned, I'm going to put a clear plastic foot on the machine, take off the metal one, because I want to be able to sew right on each edge, and I need to see very clearly. So foot down, needle down, take that first pin out, start reverse, and again I'm sewing very close to that edge. Just a few millimeters away, all down one side. And I'm sewing this on the wrong side of the fabric. This would go, say, on the inside at a waistband. Reverse. Cut the threads, and then I'll do the other side. And notice I'm leaving both ends open, because the elastic is going to go in and out of each end. So I'm not sewing across the small end, just the long, narrow sides. Now I'll do the other side. Foot down, needle down, go a few. And again, sewing very close to the edge. It's not a bad idea to go and steam this casing at this point. It's a different texture from the fabric I'm sewing it to, so it's rippled a little bit, but that's fine. And then I've cut a piece of elastic that is 3/4 the length of the casing. So I'm going to, and I put a safety pin on one end with the end that doesn't open leading it. I'm going to slide it in, and I've made sure that the casing fabric is big enough to fit this elastic, because you don't want to have to fight with it too much. So I'm working it through. You can already see it starting to gather. And I'm going to take this end and just pin it down so I don't lose it. Because pretty soon, if I don't pin it down, I will end up losing it. And I'm going to come all the way through to the other side. And then I'm going to sew one end, the end I just pinned. I'm going to pin this end with the pin, but I may decide to change that, I'll see. So I'm going to first sew down, pull it nice and even. I'm going to take that pin out, but I'm holding the elastic carefully, not allowing it to go. And I'm going to sew it close to the edge of the fabric, near the serging. Back and forth quite a few times, really hold that in. And that would normally be hidden in a seam if you were attaching this to something else. Cut those threads. And now on the other side, I can remove that pin for a moment, the straight pin, and I can pull the safety pin, and I can decide how tight I want to make it, how puckered, what the size would be. And normally your pattern would tell you this. It would tell you how long to cut the elastic. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to put it right to the end and sew it down the same way I did the other end. So I'm not having any extension of the elastic over the edge of the fabric. Hold it with my finger, line this up. And just sew it back and forth the way I did the other side. And there you have elastic and casing. That is the bad side, although you could make that the good side if you like the color of the casing. And technically that is a good side. I used white thread to show, but if you used a matching thread you would barely see it. You'd just see the elastic ruffles.